The stars had always been silent witnesses to humanity's quiet life on the small colony of Ardent 7. For decades, the planet had remained untouched, a simple world of forests, oceans, and small cities. Its people were ordinary, farmers, engineers, teachers, soldiers, but humans had a reputation across the galaxy. A reputation no one could fully measure until now. On one calm morning, the sky split with a roar of engines unlike anything Ardent 7 had ever seen. Massive alien ships, black as void and bristling with weapons, descended through the atmosphere. They were tall, spiked, terrifying machines piloted by warriors whose bodies seemed carved from metal and muscle. Their eyes glowed with cold light, and their presence alone made the air feel heavy. Scanners report multiple energy readings, far beyond anything we've encountered, said Commander Talric, a veteran of the Planetary Defense Force. He stood at the observation deck, gripping the railing tightly. They are enormous. Kyle, a young lieutenant, watched silently beside him. While everyone else whispered in fear, Kale felt only calm. He had trained for moments like this, not just with weapons, but with the knowledge that humans could survive what others thought impossible. His mind ran over past simulations, strategies, and battles. None of that seemed enough against these invaders, but that did not mean he would flinch. The alien ships landed in the plains near the colony. Dust rose like smoke and the ground trembled. The humans gathered at the perimeter, armed with rifles, tanks, and whatever technology they had. Drones hovered overhead, scanning the alien fleet, but the aliens did not move immediately. They seemed to study the humans with interest. From the largest ship emerged the champion of the aliens, towering at over 3 meters. His skin was like hardened steel, and his arms ended in claws capable of crushing metal. His eyes, bright and glowing, scanned the humans, stopping at Kale. There was something about the human that drew his attention, a calmness no one else displayed. "You are insignificant," the alien growled, his voice like grinding rocks. "Your species has no strength. Submit and your planet will be spared. Resist and you will die." Kale stepped forward, unconcerned. "We will not submit," he said simply. His voice was steady, carrying through the tension in the air. Other humans glanced at him, unsure if he was brave or foolish. The alien tilted his head. "Bold. But boldness is meaningless against power." Then, without warning, the alien charged. The ground shook with each step. Trees snapped like twigs and rocks cracked under the sheer force of his stride. Soldiers fired weapons, but energy shields barely held. The alien's strength was terrifying, yet Kale did not flinch. Instead, he moved. With agility that surprised even his own squad, Kale dodged the alien's first strike. His movements were precise, almost effortless, weaving through the shock waves and falling debris. Every punch the alien threw would have crushed any ordinary human. Yet Kale avoided them as if he could read the alien's mind. Around him, the humans faltered. Some ran for cover. Others tried to fire weapons, but the alien's shields absorbed most attacks. And yet Kale's calmness spread. Soldiers saw that he was not afraid, and a spark of courage ignited among them. "If he can stand, so can we," one whispered. The alien paused, surprised. No one had ever moved like this before. He swung his arm in a mighty arc, aiming to crush Kale. The human dove low, rolling under the blow, then sprang to his feet, placing himself directly in front of the alien once more. His eyes met the alien's, unwavering. "You are strong," Kyle said. "But we are not weak," a low growl came from the alien. He had fought thousands of species, defeated entire fleets, and conquered planets. None had resisted him with such composure. Kale's courage, his calm, his refusal to flinch. It was alien to the alien. Commander Talric called out from the observation deck.
"Hold your fire!"
"Let Kale show us what he can do." Many hesitated, but Kale had already started moving strategically, dodging and circling, baiting the alien with human unpredictability. Every human instinct, every trick he had learned came into play. The alien charged again, faster this time. Kyle leapt to the side, narrowly avoiding a strike that shattered the ground behind him. Dust and debris filled the air, blinding everyone for a moment. When it cleared, Kale was still standing. His chest heaved, but he showed no fear. The alien's eyes narrowed, confused by the human's endurance. Then Kale did something unexpected. He grabbed a fallen metal beam, spinning it like a staff. With a skillful swing, he deflected a smaller attack from the alien, causing the creature to stumble slightly. For the first time, the alien faltered. The humans around Kale cheered quietly, small, hesitant sounds but filled with hope. Kale didn't smile. He couldn't. He knew this was just the beginning. The alien was powerful, far beyond what any human could match physically, but he also knew that humans had something aliens could never predict: adaptability, creativity, courage under impossible odds. A child on the edge of the colony watched Kale from behind her parents. She clutched her mother's hand tightly. "Will he win?" she whispered. Her mother didn't answer. She couldn't, even she didn't know. But watching Kale's calm, she felt something stirring in her chest, something like hope. The alien regained balance and roared in frustration. He had never been challenged like this. He had never seen a species that refused to submit, that didn't flinch, that faced him with strategy and intelligence instead of fear. He flexed his claws, ready to strike again. Kale adjusted his stance, analyzing every movement of the alien. He noticed small patterns, slight delays in reaction, overconfidence, predictable muscle movements. Humans had always found ways to survive in dangerous situations, and now Kale's mind raced with possibilities. The colony watched, holding their breath. If Kale fell, it could mean the end. But if he stood, maybe humanity could survive yet. Then Kale did something that made even the alien pause. He smiled faintly, not a mocking smile, but a confident one, as if to say, "You may be strong, but strength alone will not decide this battle." The alien snarled, a sound of pure frustration. "This is impossible," it shouted. "No species could withstand me." Kale did not respond. He simply moved, fluid and deliberate, ready to face whatever came next. Around him, humans found courage. They remembered why they fought, not just for survival, but for their home, their families, and for a species that never gave up, no matter the odds. The first day of the invasion ended not with a battle, but with a standoff. The alien stood across the plains, glaring at the human who did not flinch. Kale stood tall, calm, and ready. In that moment, both sides realized something crucial. The humans were unlike any enemy the galaxy had faced. And one human in particular was unlike any warrior the alien had ever encountered. The night fell, but neither Kale nor the alien rested. Each understood that the coming days would not be easy. The alien had power, but Kale had something stronger: human will, human courage, and the refusal to yield even in the face of impossible strength. The morning sun broke over Ardent 7, painting the alien ships in shades of blood red and black. Dust still lingered in the air from yesterday's standoff, settling over the plains like a thin veil. The humans had spent the night preparing, but their spirits were lifted by what they had seen. Lieutenant Kale had survived a direct encounter with the alien champion, and he had not flinched. The alien had not retreated. Far from it, its massive form now moved among its troops, examining them as though searching for another human who might match Kale. But Kale alone had drawn the alien's attention. That realization both scared and inspired the soldiers. They were outmatched, outnumbered, yet one human had proven that courage could make a difference. Kale walked along the perimeter of the colony, checking defensive systems and coordinating squads. He moved with a calm authority, his presence alone instilling confidence in the men and women around him. "Lieutenant," called Sergeant Mira, jogging up beside him. "We've never faced anything like this before. Are we ready?" Kale paused, his gaze sweeping across the alien fleet visible on the horizon. "Ready? No, but we are alive. That counts for something. Strength alone doesn't win wars. Strategy, courage, and human ingenuity do." Mira nodded, though uncertainty still clouded her eyes. "Do you really think you can stop their champion?" Kale smiled faintly. "I don't have to stop him. I just have to survive and make him miscalculate. That's all humans need to do." By mid-morning, the aliens made their next move. Energy pulses shot from their ships, flattening forests and hills in the distance. Explosions lit up the horizon as the humans scrambled to defensive positions. Yet Kale did not panic. He had seen patterns in the alien attacks yesterday, and he planned to exploit them. The alien champion emerged once more, larger than before, its armor gleaming under the sun. Its eyes locked on Kale again, brimming with anger and curiosity. This time it did not charge immediately. Instead, it moved in calculated steps, testing, measuring. Kale watched carefully. The first strike came like a hammer from the sky. The alien's fist slammed into the ground near Kale, sending a shockwave that knocked several soldiers off their feet. Dust and stone exploded outward. But Kale moved before the wave hit him, rolling through the debris and using the momentum to spring onto a large rock. Around him, humans fired weapons, but most of their shots glanced off the alien's armor. Kale had anticipated this. He had calculated where the armor was weakest. Joints, small openings, moments when the alien overextended its strikes. The alien lunged. Its clawed hands reached for Kale with terrifying speed. But Kale didn't dodge randomly. He read the movement, twisted and slid under the massive arm. With a swift kick, he struck the alien's leg joint, causing it to stumble slightly. A tiny stumble, but enough to demonstrate that even the mightiest could be affected by precision. The alien roared in frustration. "Impossible! You resist!" Kale raised his voice steady and clear. "We survive, we adapt. You underestimate us because you do not understand humans." Other humans began to move with renewed courage. They attacked in small, coordinated teams, distracting the alien and creating openings for Kale to exploit. While the alien relied on brute strength, the humans used agility, unpredictability, and strategy. Kale led one squad through a narrow canyon, drawing the alien's attention away from the main colony. He used the terrain like a weapon, leaping from cliffs and sliding under obstacles. The alien followed, each step causing tremors in the earth, but Kale stayed ahead. Every move he made seemed impossible, but it was the result of training, focus, and instinct honed over years. From the colony walls, Commander Talric watched in awe. "He's doing the impossible," he muttered. "I've never seen anyone survive like this, let alone turn the tide of battle." Kale's strategy was simple but effective. Make the alien overextend, then exploit the momentary weakness. Each small success encouraged the humans, proving that even a seemingly weak species could challenge a giant. The alien swung wildly, frustrated by Kale's constant movement and cunning. Every missed strike shattered the ground and sent rocks flying, yet Kale kept evading, almost dancing around the attacks. And when the alien exposed its chest while recovering from a swing, Kale struck with a well-aimed energy pulse from his rifle. Sparks flew against the alien armor. A tiny wound, but it was a start, see? Kale shouted to his team. "Strength alone isn't enough. Watch, learn, and strike together. Humans are never just one soldier." The alien growled, a sound that vibrated through the plains. It had never encountered an opponent that moved with both intelligence and fearlessness. Kale's courage and the human's resilience were confusing the alien. It began to hesitate, a fatal flaw for a species that relied on pure power. Kale led his squad closer to the alien's flank. Using makeshift explosives and rapid maneuvers, they created small diversions. Trees were toppled, rocks thrown, and energy bursts launched from hidden drones. The alien's attention divided. It miscalculated one step, and Kale seized the opportunity. With a sprint that no human should have managed, Kale reached a high ledge and leaped toward the alien, slamming his shoulder into its chest. The alien stumbled, roaring in anger and surprise. Humans cheered from below, their morale skyrocketing. Kale had demonstrated that even the strongest could be challenged with speed, intelligence, and courage. But Kale did not celebrate. He knew the alien was far from defeated. He had only shown that humans were not powerless, that they could survive and fight in ways the aliens did not expect. And the alien was learning, slowly, painfully, that its enemies were unlike any it had faced before. The day dragged on with clashes across the plains. Kale and his squad used hit-and-run tactics, constantly forcing the alien to react. They were agile, unpredictable, and relentless. Each maneuver showed the humans' adaptability, a quality no alien had ever respected. By evening, the alien finally retreated temporarily, towering over the battlefield and glaring down at the humans. Its chest heaved as if it could not understand how such weak beings had resisted its might. Kale stood in the center of the colony, dust on his clothes, sweat on his brow, yet unbroken. Commander Talric approached him, awe in his eyes. "Lieutenant, you've done the impossible. You've survived its strength and even hurt it. The humans. They believe now. They know they can fight." Kale looked at the alien ships retreating slightly into the horizon. "This is only the beginning. They will return stronger. We have shown them that strength alone is not enough, but we must continue to adapt, to fight smart and never flinch. That is what makes us human." Soldiers cheered, families watched with hope, and even the drones seemed to move more confidently under human command. For the first time, the humans of Ardent 7 understood that courage and strategy could stand against raw power. As night fell, Kale surveyed the battlefield. The alien champion was still alive, still towering, still dangerous, but he had seen something new in its eyes: hesitation. The alien had begun to doubt itself, and Kale knew that doubt was the first step toward victory. That night, Kale sat beneath the stars, thinking of the battles to come. He knew the alien would return with greater force, but he also knew that humanity had something the galaxy had never accounted for: human courage, human ingenuity, and the unyielding spirit that refused to flinch, no matter the strength of the enemy. The dawn on Ardent 7 brought a quiet tension that no one could ignore. The alien forces had retreated slightly after their failed attack, but they were far from defeated. Their champion still towered on the horizon, a looming shadow that reminded the humans that survival alone was not enough. Lieutenant Kale stood on the edge of a ridge overlooking the plains. His eyes scanned the terrain, noting every hill, canyon, and river that could become an advantage. He did not only think of strength, he thought of strategy. Humans had learned from every battle in their history that clever planning often outweighed raw power. Today, that lesson would be put to the ultimate test. Commander Talric approached him, a map of the battlefield spread across a holographic display. "Kale, we are outnumbered 10-1. Their firepower is unmatched. What do you propose?" Kale traced lines over the map indicating choke points, high grounds, and natural barriers. "We will use what they do not expect. Their strength makes them predictable. Their arrogance makes them careless. We will force them into traps, use their momentum against them, and hit them where it hurts most." Talric raised an eyebrow. "You expect small squads and tricks to defeat these monsters?" Kale's gaze was steady. "I expect them to underestimate us. That is our advantage. Strength is nothing without control and insight. Humans have both." By mid-morning, the aliens advanced again. This time, they spread out across the plains, testing every direction. Their ships unleashed energy beams that flattened hills and scorched forests. The alien champion led the charge, swinging its massive arms and crushing everything in its path. Humans took cover behind cliffs and reinforced bunkers. Kale's squads moved like shadows. Using small, fast vehicles, they flanked the alien forces, striking at weak points while disappearing before the enemy could respond. He coordinated their movements through a communication network that allowed instant strategy adjustments. Every soldier knew their role. Every drone had a target, and every human moved with purpose. The alien champion noticed the change. Its eyes glowed brighter, scanning the battlefield with frustration. Humans were no longer scattered. They were organized. They moved unpredictably but with intent. Kale's presence seemed to inspire every soldier to act as one, something the alien had never experienced before. Kale led a team toward a narrow canyon where the aliens' massive legs would be forced into single-file movement. Explosives and energy nets had been set the night before. As the alien stepped into the canyon, its size became a disadvantage. Rocks and nets fell from above, slowing its movement and limiting its strikes. The alien swung its arms in fury, smashing boulders, but Kale and his team stayed out of reach. From above, Commander Talric's voice came over the comms. "It's working, Kale. They're trapped." Kale's lips curled into a faint smile. "It's never raw strength that wins, Talric. It's how you use the battlefield." Meanwhile, smaller alien squads tried to flank the colony itself, but human ingenuity countered them at every turn. Automated drones deployed smoke screens and laser traps, while human squads moved silently to attack alien weak points. Each success built confidence among the humans. They were no longer merely surviving, they were taking control of the battlefield. The alien champion roared in frustration. Its every strike seemed less effective, its speed slowed by traps and human coordination. Kale observed the creature, noting patterns in its attacks. Even a being of immense power could be predicted if one understood its habits. He adjusted his squad's movements accordingly, creating openings for counterattacks. Kyle directed a team to strike at the alien champion's exposed joints. Energy pulses hit its knees and elbows, slowing its movement further. For the first time, the alien staggered, not from sheer damage, but from the relentless pressure and human cunning. Soldiers on the ground cheered quietly at each success, though the battle was far from over. Kale knew the alien would adapt eventually, but humans had one advantage aliens could never match: the ability to think creatively under pressure. Every failed attack taught a new strategy. Every obstacle inspired a new solution. Hours passed with relentless skirmishes. Humans moved, struck, and disappeared before the aliens could respond. Kale coordinated multiple squads simultaneously, ensuring that the aliens' strength was neutralized by the humans' combined intelligence. The alien champion's roars echoed across the plains, a sound of frustration and disbelief. At one point, the alien attempted a direct strike at the human command center. Kale anticipated the move and redirected a squad of drones to intercept, using energy nets to ensnare the alien's arm temporarily. Another team fired energy pulses at exposed joints, forcing the creature to retreat. Kale's eyes met Commander Talric's over the communication network. "It's responding to us now," Kale said. "We're forcing it to fight our terms, not its own." Talric nodded, amazement in his voice. "You're turning the battle into something I never thought possible. Humans actually have a strategic advantage over this monster." Kale glanced at the horizon, where alien reinforcements were approaching. "This is only the first stage. Strength alone cannot beat us, but their numbers might. We have to stay smart, stay unpredictable, and always force them to react." The humans executed a daring maneuver. Using decoy squads, they drew alien forces into narrow valleys and riverbeds where mobility was limited. Hidden mines and energy traps delayed their advance, while human marksmen targeted critical weak points. Each alien warrior that fell to a strategic strike was a lesson for the rest, and Kale made sure to record every pattern. The alien champion roared again, this time more in anger than triumph. Its eyes glowed with intensity, but even it began to hesitate, unsure how to adapt to the humans' unpredictable strategy. Kale noticed this hesitation and pushed forward. Humans had found not only their courage, but also the ability to exploit alien arrogance. As the sun began to set, the battlefield looked less like a war zone and more like a proving ground. Humans had turned raw power into an opportunity. They had demonstrated that a single species, united by strategy, courage, and intelligence, could challenge the mightiest in the galaxy. Kale paused on a ridge, overlooking the plains littered with debris from alien attacks. Soldiers gathered around him, tired but inspired. "This is what makes us human," Kale said. "We don't just fight with strength. We fight with our minds, with our courage, and with each other. Today we've taken the first real step toward victory." The alien champion watched from the horizon, breathing heavily, its confidence shaken. It had underestimated humans, thinking their strength measured only in brute force. But the humans had proved otherwise. Kale's leadership, human ingenuity, and relentless courage had forced the alien to reconsider its assumptions. That night, Kale gathered his squads for a debrief. "We've done more than survive," he said. "We've forced them to fight differently. Tomorrow we push further. We exploit every advantage, use every tactic, and never let them think they are stronger than us." Soldiers nodded, their faces glowing with renewed determination. They had seen what humans could do when they worked together. Strength was not just in muscles or weapons, it was in planning, courage, and the human spirit. Kyle looked at the stars above Ardent 7. Somewhere out there, the alien fleets regrouped. They were powerful, but now they had to fight not just a soldier, but an entire species that refused to yield. And that realization, Kale knew, would change the course of the battle and perhaps the galaxy forever. By the end of Part 3, humans had gained a strategic advantage. Strength alone could no longer dictate the outcome. Kale had proven that intelligence, courage, and coordination could make even the most powerful alien forces hesitate. The legend of human resilience grew. Even the strongest opponent could be challenged when humans refused to flinch and fought with both heart and mind. The battlefield of Ardent 7 had become a place of constant tension. Smoke rose from scorched forests and craters dotted the plains where alien weapons had struck. Yet amidst the destruction, humans moved with purpose, their courage unbroken. Lieutenant Kale knew that today could mark the turning point of the conflict. He stood atop a ridge overlooking the alien forces. The champion was there, massive and relentless, but its movements were slower, calculated. Kale had studied the aliens' patterns for hours, noting every hesitation, every exposed joint, every predictable swing. Humans had survived before, but now it was time to strike decisively. "Lieutenant Kale," Commander Talric's voice crackled over the comms. "Scouts report alien reinforcements approaching from the north." "Their numbers are larger than we anticipated," Kale nodded. Then we make them pay for every step. Position squads along the valleys and high grounds. Use the terrain to divide them. They will not know what strikes them. Every squad received precise instructions. Some would attack directly, drawing attention. Others would hide in ambush, striking when the alien forces were exposed. Drones equipped with energy nets and pulse disruptors were deployed to slow down the giant champion. Kale's mind moved like a chess master, predicting the alien's every move. The alien advanced, its massive steps shaking the ground. It swung its arms, crushing rocks and leveling trees, but Kale's squads moved with precision, staying out of reach. Human ingenuity had turned the battlefield into a trap. Small explosions and hidden barriers slowed the alien's momentum, forcing it into paths Kale had prepared in advance. Kale led a small strike team into a narrow canyon. The walls rose high above them, perfect for ambush. With careful timing, they activated energy nets and pulse grenades, aiming to immobilize the alien champion temporarily. The first nets hit the alien's legs, tangling them just enough to cause a stumble. Kyle's team attacked the exposed joints using energy pulses to slow the creature's recovery. The alien roared, shaking the canyon walls. Its strength was enormous, but Kale had learned that power alone could be manipulated. He directed another team to flank the champion from behind, striking weak spots with precision. The alien swung wildly, missing every attack as humans moved unpredictably around it. From the colony walls, Commander Talric watched with a mix of amazement and relief. Kale, it's working. The alien is reacting exactly as you predicted. Keep pushing. Kale's voice was calm but determined. This is what humans do. We adapt, we coordinate, and we never give up. Today we change the tide of this battle. Meanwhile, smaller alien squads tried to attack the colony directly. Kale had anticipated this as well. He had placed mines, traps, and ambush points along every possible route. Human squads struck from hidden positions, disabling alien weapons and causing confusion. The reinforcements, confident in their numbers, found themselves divided and disorganized. The alien champion struggled to regain control. Its eyes glowed with frustration as it realized the humans were no longer merely surviving. They were fighting smart, using strategy to exploit every weakness. Kale's plan was working perfectly. Strength alone could not win against intelligence, coordination, and determination. Kyle moved closer to the champion, leading a small elite squad. Each human step was calculated, each action designed to force the alien into making mistakes. When the alien swung its massive arms in an attempt to crush them, Kale's team dodged and struck the exposed joints with pulse grenades. Sparks flew as the alien staggered. Now, Kale shouted, "Hit its legs! Force it to the ground!" Human squads from multiple directions launched coordinated attacks. Energy nets wrapped around the alien's limbs and pulse disruptors struck its armor joints. The champion fell forward with a deafening crash, shaking the ground for miles. For the first time, it was vulnerable. The humans did not pause. They pressed the advantage, striking with precise energy pulses, using explosives, and maneuvering strategically to prevent the alien from recovering. Kale moved with agility, directing squads and striking himself when openings appeared. His calmness inspired every soldier around him. They fought with a unity and courage that the alien could not comprehend. The alien roared again, more in frustration than triumph. It struggled to rise but found itself trapped by human ingenuity. Its brute strength was neutralized by strategy, agility, and precise teamwork. Kale realized this was the moment they had been waiting for. Focus on the weak points. Don't let it rise, Kale commanded. Humans attacked in perfect coordination, striking joints in exposed areas. The alien, massive and powerful, could not withstand the combined precision of human tactics. As the alien faltered, Kale's eyes scanned the battlefield. Every squad was in position, every trap had been sprung, and the colony was secure. For the first time, humans were no longer merely defending. They were controlling the fight. The alien champion fell to one knee, its massive fists pounding the ground in frustration. Kale stepped closer, his pulse steady, his resolve unbroken. "You see now," he said calmly. "Strength alone is not enough. Humans fight with mind, heart, and unity. That is our advantage. That is why we do not flinch." The alien growled, struggling to rise, but it was clear it had underestimated humans. Its confidence, once unshakable, was broken. Humans were unpredictable, relentless, and unyielding. The champion had learned a lesson it would never forget. Kale signaled the final phase of their plan. Drones and squads coordinated a series of simultaneous strikes on the alien's armor joints. The champion staggered and fell completely, unable to rise. The humans cheered quietly, careful not to alert the rest of the alien forces. They had achieved what many thought impossible. They had turned raw power into weakness through strategy, courage, and coordination. Commander Talric approached Kale through the comms. "Lieutenant, you've done it. The tide has turned. Humanity has proven something the galaxy has never seen before." Kale's eyes remained on the fallen champion. "This is only the beginning. They will adapt, and we must continue to adapt as well. Today, humans showed that we are more than our strength. We are a species that fights with every resource we have, our minds, our courage, and our unity." As night fell, Kale walked among the soldiers, their faces tired but filled with hope. The alien forces were still present, but their morale had been broken. They had learned that brute strength alone could not crush humans, and that realization sent waves of fear through their ranks. Kale looked toward the stars, thinking of the battles yet to come. He knew the aliens would return, but he also knew that humanity had discovered a truth that would never be forgotten. Courage, strategy, and unity could overcome even the most impossible odds. That night, the humans of Ardent 7 celebrated quietly, not for destruction or victory, but for the knowledge that they could stand against the strongest forces in the galaxy. They had turned the tide not through power alone, but through intelligence, bravery, and an unyielding spirit. The morning sun rose over Ardent 7, casting long shadows across the battlefield. The remnants of alien ships smoldered in the distance, smoke curling into the sky like dark banners. The plains were littered with debris, shattered rocks, and craters from the previous day's conflict. Yet amidst the destruction, humans moved with purpose and calm. They had survived, adapted, and finally claimed the upper hand. Lieutenant Kale walked among the soldiers, inspecting the aftermath. Faces once filled with fear now glowed with determination. Every soldier, engineer, and civilian who had taken part in the defense had learned a vital truth. Humans were not just survivors. They were warriors in their own right, capable of facing the strongest the galaxy had to offer. Commander Talric approached Kale, his expression a mixture of relief and awe. "Lieutenant, you've done more than survive. You've led humans to a victory that the galaxy never thought possible." Kale shook his head slightly. "It wasn't just me. Every person here, every squad, every strategy, they all mattered. Humans fight not just with strength, but with intelligence and heart. That is what made this victory possible." The alien champion, massive and imposing, had been immobilized by Kale's final strikes. Its glowing eyes, once filled with arrogance and contempt, now held something different: curiosity, respect, and perhaps even admiration. Kale approached cautiously, not with fear, but with an awareness of the moment's significance. "You underestimated us," Kale said calmly, his voice carrying across the battlefield. "Strength alone does not decide battles. Courage, unity, and strategy do." The alien growled, a sound that rumbled through the plains. It tried to rise, but its massive limbs had been weakened and trapped by human ingenuity. Yet it did not attack. For the first time, it hesitated. Kale continued, "We are not your enemies because of hate or anger. We fight to protect what we love. That is the essence of being human, and we will never flinch no matter the odds." The alien's glowing eyes flickered, and then unexpectedly it nodded, a gesture that no human had anticipated. Around them, the alien troops stopped advancing, confused by the sudden act of acknowledgement. For the first time, they realized that humans were not to be dismissed as weak or insignificant. Kale turned back to the humans. "This battle is won, but remember this: respect is earned, not given. Today we showed the galaxy what humanity can do. Tomorrow we must continue to grow stronger, smarter, and braver." Soldiers cheered quietly, some even laughing in relief. They had fought against an enemy whose strength had once seemed impossible to overcome, and now they had survived, adapted, and triumphed. They had learned that humans were more than physical strength. They were ingenuity, resilience, and courage made flesh. In the following days, alien forces began to retreat. Ships lifted from the plains, slowly withdrawing to regroup. Their commander had witnessed the humans' adaptability firsthand. Their champion had faced Kale and learned that power alone could not conquer humanity. The aliens departed not out of fear but out of recognition. They had encountered a species unlike any they had ever faced. The people of Ardent 7 worked tirelessly to repair the colony. Damaged structures were rebuilt and the wounded were cared for. Kyle oversaw the efforts, moving from group to group, encouraging, guiding, and inspiring. Even in victory, he knew the work was not over. Humans had survived this trial, but the galaxy was vast and many challenges still awaited. One evening, Kale stood atop the highest ridge watching the stars. Commander Talric joined him quietly. "You changed the course of this battle, Kale," he said softly. "I think the aliens will remember this for centuries." Kale nodded. "They will remember, yes, but it's not just about what they think of us. It's about what we know about ourselves. Today, humans prove that no force, no matter how strong, can crush a spirit that refuses to flinch." Below them, the colony hummed with life. Fires burned in safe areas, children laughed despite the scars of battle, and soldiers patrolled with confidence. Humanity had survived the impossible. They had turned a dire threat into an opportunity to demonstrate courage, unity, and intelligence. Days later, the alien champion returned, not to fight, but to communicate. It approached Kale unarmed, moving with caution and respect. Kale did not raise his weapon. He had no need. The alien's presence was a gesture of acknowledgement, a silent admission that humans were formidable opponents worthy of respect. "You fight differently," the alien's voice rumbled in its native language, which Kale's translator device converted to familiar English. "You are not like the others. Strength is not your only weapon. You adapt, you endure, you do not flinch." Kale nodded. "That is humanity. We fight for each other, for our homes, and for what we believe is right. Strength is only part of it. Will, courage, and unity are what make us truly formidable." The alien paused, considering Kale's words. Then, in a gesture that surprised all humans present, it extended a massive hand, not in attack, but in acknowledgement. Kale hesitated only for a moment before taking it. A bond of mutual respect formed in that instant, bridging the gap between species. Around the battlefield, human soldiers and civilians watched in awe. They had faced the impossible, survived, and now earned the respect of a species thought unbeatable. The legend of humanity's strength spread quickly, not just in whispers, but in deeds observed by other alien civilizations. The alien champion departed, taking its troops with it, leaving behind a message. Humanity was a species to be reckoned with. Kyle stood at the ridge once more, looking at the retreating ships. He felt a mixture of relief and anticipation. The galaxy had seen humanity's courage and ingenuity, but Kale knew this was only the beginning. Back in the colony, celebrations erupted. Humans hugged, laughed, and shared stories of the battle. Children listened wide-eyed to tales of bravery and strategy. Kale moved among them, humble but proud, knowing that the true victory was not just survival, but the demonstration of what humanity could achieve when it refused to flinch. In the weeks that followed, Ardent 7 became a symbol. Scouts, diplomats, and scholars from other worlds came to witness the humans who had stood against impossible strength. Kale continued to lead and train, ensuring that the colony and its people were prepared for any future threats. Humanity had earned respect, but Kale knew vigilance and adaptability would always be required. One evening, as Kale watched the stars, he thought of the battles ahead, not just on Ardent 7 but across the galaxy. Humans had survived the impossible, earned respect, and proven that courage and intelligence could rival even the greatest strength. But he also knew that each victory was a lesson, each challenge an opportunity to grow stronger. "Humans don't flinch," Kale whispered to himself. "No matter the enemy, no matter the odds, that is who we are." And with that, a new chapter in humanity's legend began, one that would be remembered in stories, songs, and histories across the stars. Humans had faced the strongest in the galaxy and had not only survived, they had earned respect, inspired awe, and proven that courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome even the mightiest adversaries. The alien champion would tell its people of the human who never flinched. Other alien civilizations would whisper of the species that fought with heart and mind. And humans, led by Kale, would continue to rise, ready to face whatever the galaxy would throw at them next. The legend was clear, the message unmistakable. No alien could match strength. But the human didn't even flinch.